And another one was published in Current Science, India's scientific publication in predatory journals, need for regulating quality of Indian science and education. These two articles were published in 2017 in a period of 1 month. So media picked up these papers and they started to question Indian scientific community that you are publishing in, you are working in university and you are publishing in fake journals. What is the need to publish papers in fake journals? Okay. So people also, publics also pressurized UGC to bring some regulation to stop this menace. Then UGC introduced in 2018 UGC approved list of journals. You might have heard of UGC approved list of journals. It means that you have to publish in that list only. There are around about 40,000 journals. You have to publish in 40,000 journals only. Okay. So there was a study in Current Science that the Hindu published that paper which was appeared in Current Science that they found 88% of the journals in UGC whitelist are created. Again, it was found that UGC approved list also full of fake journals. So in 2019, Bhushan Patawardhan was the Vice Chancellor of UGC. He was the professor at Pune University in Maharashtra. He was talking about predatory journals. This is 2014. Okay, he became the Vice Chancellor of UGC and he introduced UGC Care. Okay, today we are all learning publication and research ethics because of him. Now they removed the UGC Care list and they introduced UGC Care list. And this program also, Consortium for Research and Public Academic Ethics program was initiated by the UGC, and for that the responsible person was Bhushan Patawardhan. Okay, so we are all sitting here because of that. Today UGC Care list is the white list. If you want to get promotion in university, you have to publish in UGC Care list. Okay, so in that also there are some issues. We have recently published an article on that also. Okay, I will discuss about that. What are the problems in UGC Care list? Yes, there is a two white and black list. White list is legitimate journals. Okay, this is just to show you that. Again, this article is published in Nature. You can see that out of 1,700 papers, 500 papers, fake articles were published by Indian authors. Okay, almost 30% of the papers published by Indians are fake. It is that they are not publishing in proper journals. Okay, they are publishing just to get promotions. They are polluting the scientific world. Okay. This is the article that we recently wrote. We have just analyzed the Kannada language journals only to question again UGC's indexing criteria. Okay, there are some limitations because India is a so diversified country. We have only 9 journals, Kannada journals UGC has indexed. How come it is just a 9 journals? Okay, there is no avenue for PhD scholars to publish. So that was our point in this article. And this is available on the web. Okay, and also we have questioned the indexing criteria also. The study was reported in the journal Scientometrics. What are the reasons for why Indian publications are retracted? In the sense they are withdrawn. Okay. Initially, what editors do that they think that the article submitted by somebody is genuine and they send it for peer review and peer reviewers also agreed to publish that article and they publish. But later they can come to know that most of the stuffs are plagiarized. Okay, one of the reasons why Indian publications are retracted in the global publication world is that because of plagiarism. Almost 34% of the article retracted is related because of plagiarism. Okay, another reason is fake data. Without collecting the questionnaire, without properly doing the field study or doing the analysis, just we use somebody's data and publish the research. That is another major reason for retracting the publication and duplicate publications. I published my research paper simultaneously for more than 3 or 4 journals, or changing the title and publishing the same publication so many times. So these are some of the major reasons why research publications are attracted, Indian publications. Okay. You have any questions? Let us come to the authorship. Some of the aspects of misconduct of research with regard to authorship. When we should give the authorship, for whom? Okay. I am, nowadays it's research is collaborative. Gone are the days where single author, write his research paper and get published. Now almost 80% of the research publications are collaborative in nature, working 3 or more authors, sometimes 100 authors. Okay, and research is also becoming more and more multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary. Okay, intertwining many subject areas. If you are working in sociology, you must know political science. If you are working in political science, you must know economics. So now research is a multidisciplinary enterprise. No, it's a single domain. Okay, so author is someone who conceptualizes the research. Okay, who is the one who forward the idea. Okay, so we should give authorship for the right people who are genuinely contribute for the research. This is according to International Committee of Medical Journal and Editors. They have outlined some of the criteria when we should give the authorship. Substantial contribution to the study conception and design. One who make the substantial contribution to the study conception. Okay. For example, you devise a title. Okay. You formulate a research question. You should give the authorship. And data acquisition. The person who involved in data collections and analysis and interpretation. Okay. Drafting or revising the article for intellectual content. Okay. For example, I may not good in English. Okay. I may ask my colleague to collaborate with me and can he be able to revise and edit the language. Okay. We can give them the authorship. Okay. And approval of the final version. My guide may be good in analyzing the article and identifying the pitfalls and help me to revise the manuscript. So we can include him as an author. And agreement to be accountable. The author should be accountable. Okay, if there is any problem in data or any part of the research, they should own the responsibility. Okay, saying that we have done a mistake. Okay, so they should not get away or they should not shy away from the responsibility. You have any questions? Madam, copyright is totally different. Authorship is totally different. Okay, authorship is you are writing article. Okay, you are writing together 3 or 4 person you are writing. Then you are giving the authorship to the 4 person. You will be the first author, or you will be the corresponding author. Yes, there is a criteria. And to give a first author, there is no such a criteria. Usually, the person who ideated the idea will be getting the authorship. Okay. In India, first author is valued more. Okay. In India, if you are a first author in a research publication, UGC give you the 60% of the marks. Remaining authors share the 40%. Okay. But in medical science research, usually corresponding authors will be the one who get the highest weightage. Okay. Usually, corresponding author is the one who communicates with the editor, and he will be the one responsible for revising the manuscript after the peer review. So they will have a more weightage. Authorship and copyright is totally different. Okay. Madam, again, that is the problem here. Okay, why should I work every day and day out, and why should I give the authorship to the director? Director is no more involved in any study. There are hundreds of CSR institutions. Why should I give the authorship to the director? Okay, so that's why in India that my guide doesn't support me in any way. I still have to because of I am there in the department or I am doing the research. How to give the authorship. Okay. So we have to break certain rules to be genuine, to be appropriately give the authorship. It is not that we should give the author just because of his director is his No, because you work day and out, day in, day and out, and that is the problem. Again, what is the contribution? Yeah, that is the publication misconduct. That comes under publication misconduct. Okay, so giving the authorship for somebody who is not participated in study comes under research misconduct. That's what publication ethics. Now we are learning. What are the publication misconduct? Okay, so this is the publication misconduct. In India, this is the common practice. Okay, we give authorship to the HOD, guide, or VC. Yes, yes. Collaborative research you can do, from outside the country also. Okay. Now, post-COVID, you can do everything online. Okay. And language is also no more a barrier. Okay. Even though you don't know English, you can write it in Kannada and it can get translated. Okay. Yes, again, ChatGPT and all will help you. If you are not, I am not good in English, I can write in my language, okay, and I can translate that in a very simple way. Nowadays, language is not a barrier at all. Okay, I work with a Iranian. They don't know English. Okay, I published on 3 or 4 papers with Iranian. We use Dropbox, Google Drive. Okay, I have not seen them physically, but what they first write in Urdu, Persian language, then they translate to English and they send to me. We can identify the mistakes, okay? But still, this is possible nowadays. It's not a barrier anymore. And you can do inter-institutional, international, national. You can collaborate with anybody, okay? First author is one who conceptualizes the study. Again, usually first author is the lead author. One who start the research will always get the first authorship. And co-authors also. Again, I may not be having the time to do data analysis. For example, I am not good in statistics. I can include another who is good in statistics in my research team, and we can add them as co-authors. Okay, and corresponding authors. Corresponding authors' role is very important in research. Okay, while submitting the research papers, you will be the point of contact. Editors will contact the corresponding author, and after your paper is accepted for reviewing, reviewer suggests some suggestions. Editor will again get back to the corresponding authors to correct the manuscript. But what we should do is that every author should consent the corresponding authors to communicate with the editor. Okay. Madam, Google Scholar is a citation database. Okay, it's not a networking site. ResearchGate is there. Okay, Academia is there. If you have a profile in Academia or ResearchGate, you can find researchers. Okay, and in ResearchGate sometimes they itself announce, say I'm working on this field. If anybody is interested to collaborate with us, you can collaborate with them. Sometimes they announce in ResearchGate. It's a academic social research networking site. Google Scholar is a database. Okay, there you can't possibly, it is not possible to network. You can just search information. Okay. So this is the taxonomy. For example, we may not knowing how to give authorship. Okay, we worked 10 or 15 authors together, and our role, it will become very difficult to define what role in a research in particular researcher played. Okay, so in that case, this will come to help. Contribution growth taxonomy. Now many publishers, for example, Elsevier, now they have included in their publication workflow this. Now, while submitting your research paper, you have to clearly stated that what is the role that you have played. For example, you are involved in a research methodology process, or for example, you are involved in developing a protocol for research, or for example, you are involved in a data analysis. Which role? Either you have part of the research questions, development. Which role you have played in a research publication? You have to mention that, and then you have to submit the research paper. Okay. Otherwise, they won't accept the research publications. Example again, this is my article. See, you have author contribution, idea and study design, myself, and data collection and draft writing. I did, and revision and publications, finalization. Both of the authors we did this. Okay. So again, madam, this is the one you referred. Gift authorship. Okay, we just give it. We include somebody. If my friend is working in my I will include his name. Or if my wife is have done a MA or MSc, I am doing research. I will include her name and publish. Okay, these are some unethical publication practice. Guest authorship. Okay, and gift author, ghost authorship. Ghost authorship in India is very privileged. Okay, we pay somebody and get we ask them to write the research paper or PhD thesis, and we pay some amount and publish in our name. Okay, these are all very much prevalent in Indian scientific world, but we should avoid all these things. Okay. You have any questions? Again, this is the common scientific misconduct, plagiarism. Plagiarism is nothing but taking someone's work and claiming it as ours. Or changing the title, or changing the name. We will submit that paper to some journal. Okay. Plagiarism is a huge problem. Sometimes we unknowingly do the act, this plagiarism act. For that there are excuses. Okay, in scientific world also. Sometimes if unknowingly plagiarize others' work, there are some excuses for that. So, according to Merriam-Webster Online Dictionary, what is plagiarism? To steal and pass off somebody's work, to use another's work without properly crediting. We have to keep a notes and make. Nowadays again online, if you are using PDF, you can use annotation options, and you can store all the publication details. Or else you can use some reference management software, and you keep the references, whatever you cite for doing your research. Okay. So common type of plagiarism, complete plagiarism, submitting another author's work in our name. Okay, that is called complete plagiarism. Source-based plagiarism, without referencing or citing others, we plagiarize content. Direct plagiarism, copy text from another document word by word. Okay, it is called direct plagiarism. And self or auto plagiarism. Again, we use our previous work and submit to the journal. These are all some of the common types of plagiarism we encounter in scientific publications. So, what are the UGC efforts in curbing this problem? UGC in 2018 came up with a regulation called Promotion of Academic Integrity and Prevention of Plagiarism in Higher Education Institutions. Even today, this is in operation. If you plagiarize a content, see, this is the similarities. If you are doing PhDs, right, with this university, while submitting your PhD thesis, you have to submit a plagiarism report. Okay, similarity index report. Okay, if you copied up to 10%, it's considered as minor, similarities. There is no penalty for that. If you copied more than 40%, manuscript will be asked to withdraw. Okay, you have to withdraw your manuscript. If there is any 40% of plagiarism found in your thesis or your publications, it will be asked to withdraw. Okay. Level 2, similarities above 40 to 60%. Along with withdrawing the manuscript, the guide will not be allowed to supervise any new PhD students for 2 years. Okay. In level 3, if your thesis found to be 60% plagiarized, then your supervisor will not be allowed him to guide for more than 3 years, and 2 annual increment will also be withdrawn. These are some of the penalties. Okay, this is there in the web also, UGC document. Huh? So, what are the simultaneous submissions, duplicate or redundant publications? Salami slides. Okay. Simultaneous publishing, again submitting the same research publication to one or more publications. Okay. I write one article and I publish in one journal. Again, I submitting the same journal to another journal to publish. Okay. Duplicate publication. This submitting some different languages. Okay. But this simultaneous submissions, you can translate your publications and you publish in another platform. Okay. Sometime in Karnataka we are predominantly we speak Kannada, so most of them might have are not familiar with English. I can translate, but what we should do is that we have to give the proper acknowledgement that now we have copied, we have translated this from the particular journal, and we are publishing in this platform. We have to acknowledge the source of where we have got the information, where from which source we have got that, and when we translate it. We have to mention the data. Salami publications. Again, I collected the data and I will divide into 3 or 4 parts and publish that in many journals. That will decide the value of the data. Okay. Now, you have any questions? Black? Madam, again, you can use ChatGPT. That's very open. If you want to use Authenticate or original, now it is named as original, or another Turnitin. Okay. Yes, and they are also not accurate. Okay. Now ChatGPT can use it very yeah. That is not accepted in the university. To know that yourself, so what, madam? Madam, see, again I tell you, any well-established publisher, for example, John and Wiley, or Springer Nature, or Elsevier, okay, they don't ask you to check the plagiarism. Okay, they only, when you submit your articles, they will check, they will run the any software that they use, they do it that. Okay, if they find any plagiarism contents in your article, they will outrightly reject the paper. Conferences, madam, sometimes it's very difficult. iAuthenticate charges 5 lakhs. Can I purchase that? Is it possible? Since you are working in university, it is easy for you. Okay, you can ask the library to run the plagiarism software and then identify the similarities. But individually, it's not possible for me. Turnitin to cost 10 lakhs rupees. Why should I purchase for just one article? To write a thesis, why should I pay 10 lakhs rupees? Okay, but major publishers, they don't ask you to run the plagiarism software. They have the in-house mechanism. They will do that. Okay, you have to just submit it. Moreover, that you should know that we should not pay for the research. Okay, because we work and we produce the knowledge. Okay, so whenever the author asks you to, the editor asks you to pay the amount for publication, you must know that they are fake publishers. Okay, because you do all the work, and why should you again pay to get published or research paper? No major. There is a concept. Okay, one gold open access. What they do is that they will ask you to, when you are writing a proposals, research proposals, you can ask the funding agency to see, I am publishing so and so journal this project research report. So you can give me the fund to publish also. So that there are mega publishers. For example, you might know Public Library of Science. They publish journal called PLOS1, PLOS Genomics. They are on par with Nature. They allow me to read the article free. Okay, they are free publications, but in order to sustain themselves, what they do is that they ask author to pay for publications. Okay, author should not, it's not that author should pay from his pocket. He can ask his funders to, pay to the journal and then get published the articles, and it's for readers it's free. Okay, I can openly read that article. Okay, so you should not pay for publishing your research papers. Conflict of interest again. Okay, this is related to, for example, I am working. Again, I ask my friend. Sometime we are working together. Okay, I send a journal to publication, my article to publication for a journal. What they do is that they will send the article to review that article to my friend. Okay, my friend know that I am working this topic and this article is mine. Still, he may not be able to review neutral. There is some bias. Okay, you may say that this article is fantastic, you can publish. So in order to avoid, we should avoid such a thing. If we know that my friend is submitting, writing that paper and submitted this journal, then we have to withdraw. ನಿಮಗೆ ಕೋರ್ಟ್ ಕೇಸಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಗೊತ್ತಲ್ಲ, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಸಲ ಲಾಯರ್ಗಳು ವಿಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾರೆ ಕೇಸಿಂದ. ಏನಕ್ಕೆ ವಿಡ್ರಾ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊತಾರೆ ಅಂದರೆ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ಸಮ್ ಕೈಂಡ್ ಆಫ್ ಕಾನ್ಫ್ಲಿಕ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೆಸ್ಟ್. ನನಗೆ ಸೊ ಆ ರೀತಿ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಈಗ ಯಾವುದೋ ಫಾರ್ಮಾಸ್ಯೂಟಿಕಲ್ ಕಂಪನಿ ನನಗೆ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಫಂಡ್ ಮಾಡಿರುತ್ತೆ, ನಾನು ಅದು ಯಾವುದೋ ಒಂದು ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ರಿಸರ್ಚ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಿರ್ತೀನಿ. ಐ ಮೇ ನಾಟ್ ಬಿ ನ್ಯೂಟ್ರಲ್. ಓಕೆ, there is some bias attached to it. So in that cases we should withdraw from that. Okay. In science also, sometimes reviewers, it is very difficult to find a reviewer. So sometimes my friend's paper come to me itself to review. At if we know any content, then we should tell the editor that I am not ready to review this paper. Or if I am working for a certain companies and I am doing research on that company's product, I should declare the conflict of interest. Okay. If you are submitting to any journal, again for major publisher, they will ask you to submit this kind of a form. Okay. You have to declare the conflict of interest using this kind of forms. So research what? Again, fabrication and falsification are common research frauds. In fabrication, again, we make up the data. Without going to the field, now I will fill up 1,000 questions. Okay, and I will say that I have collected all these 1,000 surveys, and I will prepare a report. So we should not do that. And image manipulation, falsification. In India, image manipulation is also very prevalent. In labs, they use specimen. Okay, so sometimes they edit the images. They get the lab results, and in order to get the positive results, or in order to get the suit my objectives, my research objectives, they manipulate. They will edit it. Okay, such a things are very prevalent in Indian context. We should not do that. Okay. So there is one database called Retraction Watch database. What they do is that they index all the retracted publications. If you want to know from India which publications are retracted in the last 10 years, you can visit that Retraction Watch database and you can see yourself. There is one during the COVID-19, IIT Delhi, 2 professors are from other institutions. They wrote an article, linking COVID-19 to HIV/AIDS. Okay, they published an article, uncanny similarity of something. Okay, unique insert in the 2019 nCoV spike. They deposited that paper in a preprint server called midArchive. Okay, and the world scientific community saw this paper and they were shocked. Okay, without any proper research, and they came out with linking COVID-19 to HIV. Okay, then they started to comment to this paper, and they were asking to make the data open. Okay, why we value research most is one of the biggest character of research is that it can be reproducible. Okay, which we can replicate. Okay, research can be replicated. That's why we value the most. Okay, so then the research scientific community asked these authors to make their data open so that they can replicate this study. Okay, so they could not make the data public. Then that article was immediately withdrawn. Okay, so we should be careful. So this is predatory journals. Again, research and publication ethics program is conducting to create awareness on these predatory publications mainly. Okay, so to avoid these predatory publications, what are the sources that we can cite? For example, I want to search the articles or journals to publish my research paper or doing review literature. Web of Science, Scopus, PubMed, DOAJ, Cambridge Journal Analytics, UGC Cases. These are some of the legitimate databases. Okay, so they index journals based on number of criteria. Okay, without quality analysis, they don't include the journals in these databases. DOAG, PubMed, they are all free. Okay, UGC Care List also. Scopus, Web of Science, they are proprietary databases. If you want to do your review literature, you have to depend on these databases. They are genuine and legitimate databases. Okay. So you should be aware about fake journal metrics. Journal metrics, impact factor. You might have heard of impact factors. Okay, journal impact factor that is published by the Web of Science only. No other companies have the rights. It's a patented formula that they only publish journal impact factor. No other agencies have the right to publish that. Every year Web of Science publish a report called Journal Citation Report. Okay, there they publish this journal impact factors. Many journals claim that our journal is indexed in Advanced Science Index, Cosmos Impact Factor, Directory of Journal Quality Factor, Global Impact Factor, Index Copernicus. These are all fake journal metrics. Okay, Journal Impact Factor is the solo right of Web of Science. No other product, no other companies have the right to publish Journal Impact Factor. Okay. These are all some of the examples of fake indexing metrics. If you come across this any index in your journal, you should know that they are fake. Okay. So how to verify the quality journal? There is a website called Think Check Submit. Okay, if you visit this website, there are 10 criteria. For example, what kind of a peer review process that a particular journal follows. Okay, whether your colleague or you know the journal. Okay, previously your colleague might have published that article, his article in that journal. So you are familiar with that journal. Okay, they have some set of 10 criteria how to identify the legitimate journal. Okay, if you have any doubt in selecting the journal for your publication, you can visit this website and you can verify yourself. Okay, to identify a right journal. So what are the major organizations? I will go quickly hereafter. So there are n number of organizations. In India also now we have UGCK. Okay, like that. COPE is the one of international body on research and publication ethics. They frequently publish various reports on scientific misconduct. Okay, if you visit their website, you can find a lot of information. To conduct legitimate research, you can find many resources. Okay, and WAMI is there, ICMJE, CSE, EASE. They are all they publish reports and they publish guidelines to follow right proper mechanism in research. Okay. This is some research reporting guidelines. Okay, while review now most of them you are doing research, right? You do a review literature. So in medical science, especially biomedical sciences, they ask you to submit the review based on some guidelines, PRISMA guidelines. Okay, it's what they help you is how to prepare your review literature, how to do meta-analysis. how to review your research previous work and compile that. This guide help you to prepare a review literature. Okay, some journals accept articles if you have followed any of these guidelines. Otherwise, they don't accept your research publication, your review literature. Okay, if you prepare a paper on review literature, you have to follow any of these guidelines. Okay, so they will provide you the structure. What are the aspects that you should see in the previous work, and how you have to come up with your own findings at the end. So these reports help you how to prepare review literature and submit to the journals. Again, this is the importance of publication ethics. Obviously, it will enhance the institution and researcher reputations. Okay. Now, I take literature example. We have Devanur Mahadeva in Mysore only. Our Badiravu Kadme, but he is respected across Karnataka because of his character, his conduct in the society. Okay. So that obviously, if you follow proper publication ethics, your institution and researcher reputation will be enhanced. Okay, open doors to collaboration. Again, you can collaborate if you are doing a good research. Somebody may contact you if you are on a Facebook or social media platforms, as I told you in research case. Somebody may contact you and ask you to collaborate with. Funding agency also, if your article is once retracted, it will be always there, okay, on the web. So that funding agency will not fund you if your article is retracted from any journal. They will not consider your application. Okay, so that attract young researchers again to institution and labs. Now some of my friends, they want to Germany to do Max Planck University. Okay, why they want to go there? That they know that their research is conducted in a honest and transparent manner, and they have the high reputation. Okay. So stop the waste of resources. As I told you, publication is nowadays very easy. So simply, why we should publish in fake journals? Nobody will read your, if you publish in that journals. Ultimately, we do research to, to initiate a dialogue. Okay, to initiate a discussion, to, help researchers to, come up with new ideas. Okay, so we do research to initiate discussions, so we should do it properly. If you publish in fake journals, you publish in dubious, less quality journals, nobody will see that journal. Okay, you have to keep your files in your home. And start again. If you follow publication ethics, you can stop publishing in predatory journals, society and institutional recognitions, and provide facts and figure to counter fake narratives. Okay, that's very important. You have any questions? So these are some of the policy interventions. I will not go into this. Okay, what I will do is that we did a study during the COVID-19 with 21 authors from different countries. We came together and we did a one study. It is on library and information science, but the problems that we face are similar, irrespective of the domains that you do research. Okay, during the second wave of COVID-19, this project was led by Brady Land. He is working in US. He is a library and information science assistant professor at I have forgotten Newcastle University, if I am remembering right. And many others. To assess what are the barriers that researchers face in especially global South researchers. Okay, the result was language barrier. Again, language barrier is one of the top problems. I don't know English, scientific English, so that most of the time, even though if I submit a journal, my article to a foreign journals, they don't accept because my English is not good. Like that, and lack of research funding and proper topics can vary among countries. Okay, inadequate wages for researchers. These are some of the problems. These problems are common. But now, language barrier is not an issue at all. Okay, so we can translate, we can use Google Translate, artificial intelligence tools, and we can overcome that. Okay. Again, there was a considerable, shift in how we used to see scientific publication post COVID-19. Okay. Now there are open publishing models have emerged. Researchers are now not ready to publish in journals. Okay, they are not ready. Many of them are not just depositing their papers in preprints. Preprints are just a repository. Okay, it's an open repository. Anybody can deposit your research, but they do plagiarism screening. Okay, without peer review, you can post your research in preprints. Now many highly acclaimed researchers are depositing their paper in preprints instead of publishing in journals. Okay, I just see artificial intelligence in publishing and open science. They are emerging publication models. So I'll just some of the open science platforms. Now today. See, madam, you are together, working research on a similar topic. If you do, you can stamp the, authority that I am doing the research. And also, if you don't know, it's a preliminary results. Okay, initially, if there is any, good or bad stuff, your colleague may alert you. See, you have done this, you can do this. Okay, initially, instant feedback is possible. Okay, and also you can find a collaboration. And many journals are now considered preprints. What they see preprints. If they find your article is very interesting, the editor will contact you and ask you to submit the paper. Okay, you can submit that paper and you can get published. No money. They are free. Okay, many preprints are funded by Microsoft and Mark Zuckerberg Initiative Foundations. Okay, major. Okay, these big IT companies are funded because of their social responsibility. They have tried to make more knowledge open. Okay, they are funded. This medRxiv and bioRxiv are funded by this Facebook Mark Zuckerberg Foundation. Nowadays, if you do research and publish article is not enough. You have to deposit your questionnaire. Okay, you have to deposit your Excel sheet. Otherwise, they don't accept. Anymore, if you just publish your paper, it is not enough nowadays. Okay, you have to publish your data along with the research. Now, many journals have made it a mandatory. Without your data, they don't accept your publication. Okay, make sure that your data is available with you. Okay, they will ask you to deposit in open, data depository platforms. Okay, so data retention is very much important. Okay. You have to preserve your data for 2 to 3 years. And if the journal editor may at any point ask you to give the link to your data, your questionnaire or your Excel sheet, if you collect the data from Google form, you have to submit to the journal. Or you have to submit to the open data repository form and you can link that to the journal. Okay? So now it is becoming normal. See, this is the preprints. Preprints are a version of manuscript posted on a public server prior to formal peer review. They are just they may not be peer reviewed. Okay. In journal, what they do is that they do peer review and publish. In preprints, they screen initially for plagiarism purpose, and they will allow you to publish your article without any charge. They don't charge any money. During the COVID-19. Most of the articles are not published in journals. They first published in peer review, preprint, SSR on electronic journal, medRxiv, ResearchSquare, bioRxiv, okay, arXiv, and so see, these are all. Clause 1, it's a journal, sustainability is a journal, the BMJ is journal, science is also journal. But SSRN, medRxiv, ResearchSquare, bioRxiv, arXiv, these are all preprints. Okay. Researchers deposited their paper in preprints rather than publishing in research journals. So what are the benefits? Rapid dissemination of your results. You can stamp your authority, and also increased attentions. Media pick your article if it is very important. They will publish a report. And career advancement. Nowadays, National Institute of Health, US, and European funding agencies are considering preprint. If you are applying for a job, if you have submitted your publication in preprint, you can include that in your CV. Same as research paper. Okay, and the community. many researchers, common readers comment on that, okay. In preprint server, if your article is interesting to them, they will comment, okay. They will participate in a discussion, okay. And madam, it is available openly, okay. Madam, it's a research paper, okay. Same as your research journal publication, you publish in preprints, okay. And unlimited and timely updates. For example, I may madam, sometime you can submit deposit a preliminary result also. If you want to have a discussion. They can't continue. I will stop it. Okay, sorry. I will stop. So, yeah, this is our one example. Again, what we did during COVID-19, we did one study on Indian publications on COVID-19. We deposited the COVID-19 paper in a mid-archive preprint. Okay, the editor of Diabetes and Metabolic Syndrome Journal, they contacted us that we find your research publication interested and we are ready to publish that paper. Then we submitted to that journal and the journal published our paper. The journal subsequently published our paper. Okay, so these are some of the examples for preprint service: archive, PFJ, mid-archive, ChemArchive, socio-archive. If you are doing research in social science, you can submit to socio-archive, SSRM. These are some of the databases. So open data repositories. Again, see, these are some of the open data repositories. Figshare, Zenodo. You can submit your Excel sheet, your questionnaire, your protocol, software, any statistical applications that you develop. Okay. So what are the benefits if we deposit the data, not the research paper, data, your data, what you do, you construct a methodology, you develop a questionnaire, any interview schedule. So what are the benefits? See, more possibility for collaboration, reproducing of research, encourage other researchers to use that data. Okay. And these are some of the benefits for depositing the data, and now all the journals are mandating the submission of data. Okay. So open peer review. Yes. So you copy someone work and you publish your paper. Okay. That author can take that paper and deposit here and discuss about that article. See, that fellow has copied my paper and he has published in his name. PubPeer allow that kind of a discussion. Okay. You can, many Indian professors got through this platform, PubPeer. Okay. So many Indian Institute of Science scientists, they have manipulated with so many images. Some foreign researchers, they posted them, not Indian mistake in this platform. This PubPeer it's an open review platform. And social networking sites, ResearchGate, you can create your profile in ResearchGate. It's a very interesting social networking site. Okay. This is some of the. You should create Google Scholar profile, ORCID, your profile through ORCID or researcher ID. You should have that. And research that it is not that you should publish in English. Nowadays you can publish in Kannada, or you can publish very brief report, or you can write a comment. Okay, gone are the days that you should publish full length papers. You just publish a 200, 400 words article. Okay, you can deposit in blogs. If journals find that interest, they will publish that. Okay, there are platforms now, they pick up and publish. So